Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kindly Kwanzaa. There we go, I think I've covered all the major holidays. Welcome to our Holiday Home Traditions Christmas special. I'm your host, Anthony Miano, and joining me here in the studio are my associates, Mr. Tommy Paymer, Mr. Michael Fodor, and Miss Tiara Smith. And we're going to be taking a heartwarming stroll down memory lane by discussing our favorite holiday memories. Why don't you start us off, Mr. Paymer?
Thanks, Anthony. Great to be here today. So, one of my favorite holiday traditions, my family actually started last year. Every Christmas Eve, we go to a hibachi restaurant and get our steak and noodles and shrimp, and it's awesome.
And for our audio-only audience, Mr. Paymer is holding a pair of chopsticks.
Well, that sounds like something you do for Chinese New Year tradition. How's that tie in with Christmas?
You know, I don't know. We figured last year, hey, let's try something new. Let's go for it. And we all loved it so much that we're doing it again this year. And, you know, Ralphie and Randy, their family went to a Chinese restaurant. So you got to
wait. This is only going into your second year. This isn't a tradition.
Oh, it's a tradition, dude.
What marks it a tradition? How many times do I have to do it for it to be a tradition?
Exactly. Was there a committee that had a meeting or a judge on the Court of Christmas that made a ruling? What? Come on.
I think Tommy's got to give us another one.
Yes, I agree. What do you think, Tiara?
Something else, Tommy.
No, I think I like the hibachi thing, and I'm going with it. Where do y'all go?
Oh, man.
Where did y'all go?
It was called Wasabi in Akron.
Oh, okay.
So,
Sounds delicious.
I'll give you another tradition if you're up for it.
Yes, we are.
Oh, good. Sure, why not? That's why we're here.
So this is a more common one that other people might know. Every Christmas Eve night, we open one present each.
Aww.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Save the rest for Christmas morning. Christmas Eve, you get one present each.
Is that from Santa or is that from somebody in the family?
Santa got run over by a reindeer.
In your household?
As I suspected, a North Pole mutiny. And before we have too much time to marinate on that unpleasant mental image, Tiara, why don't you go ahead and share?
So my family doesn't typically have family traditions, so I kind of started some on my own, and probably the one, because I have 3 daughters, so I'm trying to start our own family traditions, and probably the biggest one that we have been doing are pajamas, matching family Christmas Eve pajamas that we wear again on New Year's Eve. So this is our 3rd year going into that. So what I have on now is from last year, and you guys will not believe.
Are you gonna stand up and show?
Sure.
This is a tradition. They're going on the 3rd year, by the way. There you go. Nice.
Okay.
Very festive.
I ran around the world yesterday looking for matching pajamas, and I refused to give up. It usually, everywhere I was finding it, it was ranking up to about $100 for 4 of us to get pajamas. But I happened to find some at Old Navy, and I got all of us pajamas for like $30.
$30 for 4 people.
For 4 people.
Wow.
At Old Navy.
Not bad at all.
That's a good Christmas tradition.
If your kids aren't going to outgrow them by next year, or is it a tradition that you do new matching pajamas every year?
We do new matching pajamas.
Ooh, okay.
The good thing is, though, my 2 youngest daughters are 14 months apart. So when the youngest one grows out of her pajamas, she gets her big sister's pajamas.
Okay.
And then I have a goddaughter that gets the hand-me-downs from the baby. So
okay, you've got a nice little system going along there.
Recycle.
Mike, you've got some couple of hard acts to follow, but why don't you give it your best shot?
Well, I'm going to give it my best shot. First of all, my Christmas sweater. I'm a gift in and of myself.
You are a gift.
To the family, right?
That depends on who you ask.
My wife's good with that, so. Anyways, in our household, a couple quick traditions we had growing up as kids is that was the one day of the year we could count on my dad getting up early and cooking breakfast for everybody.
That's cool.
So we all looked forward to that. And then he would always read us the Christmas story out of the Bible, Luke chapter 2, Matthew chapter 2. So he always read that out loud to the family. And then lately we've been reading the Saint Nicholas story for the children, which is kind of cool. How he started the gift-giving tradition way back when. He's a real historical character that lived in Turkey and was a bishop and all that. So I'll come back to one other one later, but
All right,
quick ones there.
And to kick it back to me, your host, well, this is
It's a
not...
cheerful smile for the camera, Mr. Cheerful.
We'll have to edit that remark in post. This is more of a one-time special, but in 2012, after the loss of my grandfather, the family went around on Christmas Eve, Christmas dinner, and discussed our favorite memory of him, and mine was, What? Speak up, Mary! I can't hear you! My grandfather was legendarily stubborn within the family about refusing to wear his hearing aids or not keeping them turned on all the way when he did, and as I advised my parents, look, if Grandpa doesn't want to wear them, none of us can really make him. My ongoing tradition that I have is watching bits and pieces of A Christmas Story a little bit at a time, as it doesn't really matter if you miss some of it because it runs for 24 hours straight on TNT.
And I have never seen that whole movie.
What?
I've never
So-
seen it from front to back in one sitting. I've just seen every scene at one point or another. And,
Have you been to the house here in Cleveland?
you know, it's funny. It's just like the Football Hall of Fame. I live 30, 40 minutes away, and yet I've never been. I mean,
How about The Wonderful Life? Is that a tradition for any of you watching The Wonderful Life? It's a Wonderful Life.
I have no idea what you're talking
Jimmy
about.
Stewart.
it's the basic story. Well, it's the template for the fictional story where a character thinks that life would be better for everyone in his life if he had never been born, and then a guardian angel descends from heaven and shows him what other people's life would be like without him.
Because he tried to commit suicide. Right?
Oh yes, he was standing on a bridge about to jump, and then and it's been parodied to high heaven in other works.
It's a good movie.
For example,
Sounds
Even though
like
it's in
it.
black and white, it's a good movie.
I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing all the way through, but I gotta watch
nor
it.
have I. It
1947.
it was actually I believe the modern term would be box office flop when it was first released, but
Really?
it didn't make a lot of money in theaters, but then it developed a following over the years, and Jimmy Stewart's ascension to being a major Hollywood star probably helped. Yes.
I did have one other Christmas. Can I share one
Please,
other
go
Christmas?
ahead, Michael.
This is
Yeah, go
probably
for
the
it.
most, one that I remember the most, because when it came to unwrapping the gifts,
Yes.
my mom and dad were always against everybody just ripping open gifts simultaneously, like in chaos. So they wanted to make sure everybody could see what that person got, and everybody got their turn. So one gift at a time. But they started with the youngest in the family. They would go up and pick out a gift.
Yep.
Couldn't be theirs. And then they'd give it. Everybody would watch them open. Then the next youngest would go and pick the next gift, and it couldn't be theirs or the one who just got the gift.
Sounds horrible.
It was actually a good way to do it, but you got to see what everybody got, appreciate it, give them their little time in the sun, and
Yes.
went around, kept going until all the gifts are gone, youngest to oldest.
Yes,
I
we
like
did a
that.
similar thing in my family with the extended family on Christmas Eve, except it involved one of the younger cousins and an elf costume.
Buddy?
No, this predated that movie, unfortunately, although actually at their full height, these cousins are about the size of Will Ferrell, so yeah, it could have worked eventually.
All right.
And
Certainly we must have some other Christmas traditions. How about the meal? Anyone?
My family has, for generations, been making something. And of course, that growing up, I thought was normal in the household. So we usually do it for like Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it's celery filled with softened cream cheese mixed with rum extract.
Wow.
Or sometimes, the parents would slip in a little bit of regular rum.
I think my blood alcohol content and cholesterol level just rose from you describing it.
It's delicious. And we've been making it for
You
years.
didn't bring a sample with you, did you?
I didn't because I have to make it for Christmas. I did.
Sounds yummy.
We're going to have to
Touch
pause.
of rum in there.
We're going to have to pause for a moment until I stop drooling all over my microphone. I'm exaggerating, but only slightly. Yes, that sounds almost as good as the beef tenderloin we do at my family's Christmas every year.
Is that what it is?
Yes. It was modified this year due to the COVID. We had masks on the whole time, and it was...
Did the cow have a mask too before you slaughtered it?
No, we didn't personally slaughter a cow. It wasn't like that one restaurant on The Simpsons, the Slaughterhouse, but I digress. Now, it was pizza, chicken, and JoJo's this year from Nino's in the Valley.
Wow.
In Akron. Yeah,
Our dinners sound a little boring because it's usually a turkey dinner or a ham dinner.
The same meal as Thanksgiving?
Yeah, pretty much. It's always been turkey or ham. Usually turkey.
Does everyone else's family break out the good china for Christmas?
Nope. We break out the plastic plates that got all the squares on it so that we can make sure everything has space.
Oh, that's even better. That's efficient. Although, as they say, if you don't get everything you want on the plate, just clean the plate and then refill it.
Yeah.
That
Only
works
takes
for
seconds,
paper
man.
plates, too.
And my chair is breaking from the weight I'm gaining just from describing all of this.
Paper plates are massively underrated.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You could do so much with a paper plate.
Oh, yeah. The last month in my old apartment, my roommates owned all the plates. They were like, yeah, we're all just going to use paper plates until the lease runs out so that we don't have to do any dishes. And I said, fine.
Tiara, you have children at home, right? So
I do.
You must have some traditions for the kids for Christmas, don't you?
Well, the thing is, I have an 11-year-old, so we had our own traditions, but it's just been us for so long. And then I have a 3-year-old, and then the baby will be 2 on December 30th. So, we're kind of just new getting into the traditions. The babies, they don't even know what Christmas is. I can't get them, if it's not Moana or Frozen, I can't even get them to watch something else, and I don't even know how to begin to describe to them who Santa is. So
they do get gifts from Santa.
They do.
As well as one another.
Well, another tradition I kind of started too, and this will be our 2nd year, if that counts. We are traveling for New Year's. And instead of me spending money on Christmas gifts, I put money into our vacation at the end of the year, and we do that instead. But the rest of my family typically still buys them Christmas gifts. And this year I had a little bit of extra money, so
they'll
get
be
a Christmas.
double dipping.
Yeah, they'll get a Christmas from me.
And where are you going on vacation this
Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Nice.
Yep.
Why there?
I have a sister in Charlotte, so as long as I can get there, we got somewhere to stay.
It's
And
half the expense right there.
Right.
Get to wear shorts and t-shirts in the middle of winter for a little bit.
yeah, last time I spent New Year's in Charlotte, I stepped outside on the porch to smoke after the countdown, and I had on hoop shorts and a beater, and I fell asleep. And I didn't wake up because I was cold. I woke up because I heard birds chirping. So that's nice on New Year's Day, to pass out on the porch and not freeze to death.
And you had a cigarette in your hand when you passed out?
Not necessarily a cigarette, but
Oh.
And that's about going to do it for
And on that closing tradition,
we are not in any way advising you to or not to adopt any of the traditions we've alluded to
because you might pass out somewhere.
or discussed in great detail, and we are not aware of the laws governing such behavior in other states. And with that,
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
And a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas
yes,
to all.
as I said at the beginning, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and kindly Kwanzaa. Good day to you.